Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to continue with practical Christianity, and we're going to look at how to be exalted from James 4:6 to 10. But he gives greater grace. Therefore, it says, God is opposed to the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Submit yourselves, therefore, to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Come close to God, and he will come close to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Be miserable and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned into mourning and your joy into gloom. Humble yourselves in the presence of the Lord, and he will exalt you. Do you want to have an exalted standing in life? Who must we put down in order to be raised up? James gives us step-by-step instructions on how to live an exalted life. He tells us that God actually desires to raise us up in life. What stops us from truly being exalted in life? We are told that what knocks us down is our pride, because God opposes the proud, but grants grace to the humble. What that means is when we seek to raise ourselves above others, we are putting ourselves in opposition to God. James then goes on to show us in a practical step-by-step process how we can live an exalted life. First, we must recognize that God is supreme and not ourselves. We are to place ourselves under God's authority. Second, as we place ourselves under God's authority, we must recognize that following the pool of the world is to follow the devil. We are to resist the pool by standing firm on God's authority, his word. Third, as we recognize our inability to resist the devil on our own, we must draw closer and closer to God. We must follow Christ's example in dealing with the devil and only use the authority of the word to resist the devil. What is the result of drawing closer to God? When we draw closer to God, what does he show us? As we draw closer to God, we see ourselves in the reflection of his word. What that shows us is our need to be cleansed and purified. Our true reflection will show us that us in places, the places in our lives, we need to surrender to God's authority for purification. It should make us weep, mourn, and over how God sees our sin and his desire to cleanse us. This is what James is referring to when he speaks of turning our joy to sorrow and laughter into mourning. What will God do for us when we allow this reflection of his word to change us? God's ultimate desire for each of his children is to exalt them above their circumstances and to give them joy in pain. When we draw near to God in humble submission, he will lift us up. He has promised when we confess to him our shortcomings, our sins, he will cleanse and purify us from all that comes between us and him. So, do you want to be exalted? Humble yourself. Do you want the desires of your heart? Turn humbly to God. Let us take some time this week to reflect on our attitudes and motives. Let us take a good, healthy look into God's mirror and see the dirt in our lives and allow God to cleanse us by his word.